best at laying down jobs. He liked to lay down and work on the car, and here he is working on the rear end of it, and he really liked those laying down jobs. Here's Charlie after the car was finished. We pulled it outside, and I think we'd already run 1 or 2 races as it indicated the front fender there was tore up. He won several races with this old car, but it was always because maybe the leader of the race dropped out or something. I don't think he ever just literally passed everybody and won. Because here again, this car was just like the other one. It just would not go through the turns. Every now and then it'd catch a break and they would go through the turns, and he would win some races. He would always get up there and always run in the top 3 or 5, always. Now here we can get pictures of him. Here's Charlie sitting in the old car, and he loved the race. You see the smile on his face. Here's my brother Ray seated in the car. All these are crew members and the ones that really were out front taking care of the cars back then. Here's my brother Billy, who helped out quite a bit on the car, and even financially helped a little bit. And here's my cousin Slugger, Buford Markland. He was the photographer in the bunch. He always taking the pictures and just always a great guy to be around. Of course, here's the leader of the gang. This is Old Biggin. He's the one that drove the tow truck, snatched that car around all over the country. And of course, here's the pest crew, the crew that always showed up and cheered Charlie on everything, whether he did good or bad. They cheered him on anyways. They all loved him. Everyone, I'm just proud of him. Here they are, mauled around the car. You see Old Biggin mauled around the car there, and getting Charles ready to go out and run another feature race. Here's a car, a good shot of the front of the car that we, after we got to running. It got involved in a few wrecks too. Here's one that didn't. He didn't really mean to get involved in this one. I believe this first car gets on through the flames, but then you'll see Charles spinning around in the flames. If you look real close out above where the guy running away from the car, you'll see that's Jimmy Griggs, I believe. And you can see Charles, the back of the car is actually on fire after he ran through that flame. And boy, I'm telling you, it was a scary, scary moment. Here's Charlie, Bobby Walker, Charlie Higdon, P.B. Crowell, and can't quite tell who that red car was, but I believe it's Cuckoo. Here's Charlie and Red Farmer running nose to tail. They were rivals. I mean, every time Red Farmer show up, he'd either blow an engine in front of Charlie or something always would happen. And Charles always getting Red Farmer's wrecks. And boy, and it happened more than one time. It happened several times during Charles's career. Here's the lineup coming down for the flag. Everybody's anticipating a good start. This was the last race the old 64 ran, and here's the results of it. He blew an engine, I blew the rear end, and as you can see, that those trace marks up there was his oil that came out of the rear end. 1969. Charlie was just about ready to quit. He was disgruntled. We didn't have anybody to help. He didn't have anybody to help him with his finances on the car. So I was making pretty good money back then. So I decided, well, shoot, I'll just jump in and get my feet wet and to kind of help Charles along with the car. So we built this beautiful 1966 Chevelle. Showed up out the racetrack with it, and boy, it was a beautiful little car. Everybody's voted, I think, and they claim this is the prettiest car I ever had. But I don't know, I still like and still love the old Baby Blue. He won, I think it was 4 or 5 races at Speedway with this one. He won a few out-of-town races with it, but we started out with that thing with the 396 engine in it, I believe. Then it started acting up, wouldn't get through the turn, so we built a new engine, a 350 Chevrolet, and went out to the speedway and just set the woods on fire. He won the first race that we ever ran that car in with that 350 engine in it, and he won 2 more after that, I believe it was. Just one right after the other, just about. Here's another picture of that same picture of him signing autographs for the kids. As I say, Charlie loved the kids. I believe if you look real close there, you'll see Larry down in the front there looking through the fence. Of course, like always, times came when Charles would get into trouble and have to pick it up by the wrecker and put it on the trailer. Here's Charles changed his own tires, which he did. Charles did a lot of work on the car himself. He didn't depend on somebody else to do it. He'd get out there and he'd change the oil, he'd change the tires or whatever. Here's a very good picture. I wish I had it in color of him sitting in that 66 Chevelle. We changed over to 67 later on, or maybe at the beginning of the following year, which switched. I think maybe all we did was maybe change the grill. I know we put a new front end on it, but because James Ham helped to knock it off right here. As you can see, it's that high bank track. That's back when they had them old high banks at 35 degrees. And Charles set a track record out there, and as we'll see later on, and it stands right today on those high banks. You can see, boy, you can just read them numbers up on top of the cars, and just plain as day. That previous picture, I lettered every car in that picture. Then we get on, and it's time Charles moving on. I kind of got tired of fooling with the things, and so he got a new sponsor in the 1971 season. He began the season with a sponsor. I didn't even letter this car here. Someone else lettered. It's Beer Distributing Company. Ellis Cook took Charles under his wing, and they bought the car, my part of the car, from me, and they went on to win races with this car. Not a lot, but they still won quite a few races. Here again, there's another picture of Charlie and old Fluky. Like I say, they was rivals. He and Charles got together several times and had quite a few words at times, but they were still pretty good buds. They never did come to blows by any means, but they always raced each other real hard. And here's the 25 car again, another picture of the 25 car after it showed up at the Speedway. This is the other side of the car. This is that same blue and gold car. As you can see, the inside is still blue, and they just painted the outside white and went racing. And like I say, he won quite a few races with it. Here's another picture of it. This is the day that they carried it to the racetrack, and I couldn't stand the thought that I didn't letter it, but I didn't. A fellow named Willie Neely did. Well, here's the results of that car. Charlie and Fluky and another car got together coming down the straightaway on that big high bank track now, and Charlie got crossways and went across the front straightaway and hit the wall. There's an opening that goes over into the infield, and he hit that opening. As you can see, it drove the motor completely back up under Charles's feet. In fact, it broke one ankle and strained the other one. Charles actually had to be